Palestine, Gaza, trans, Pokemon, 9/11, 7/11, Curious George, Animorphs, Animaniacs, The Alamo, When Animals Attack back. Ladies and gentlemen, Daddy's home. I know Papa Lopez went out for some milk and cigarettes. I went out for both of them. Okay? Yeah, I went out for a little bit. I was gone. Okay? Yeah, I'm sorry. Listen, I'm the first to admit, you go back and listen to the last episode. Okay? I literally am ending the episode just being like, yeah, the podcast is never stopping, dude. Us to infinity. And then, I just disappeared. Right now, I feel like Blue's Clues, the guy, Steve, when Steve came back after like 25 years of ghosting us, and he was like, hey, you look great. And we're over here trying to be back. We're trying to be back, and my camera, first time it's ever done this in my life, just decides to start fucking up, okay? It just decides, spooky ghost, I'm just going to turn this shit off, okay? We're not going to let it stop us. Not on our flagship return episode. And you might be like, Evan, I don't even know if I trust you anymore. I don't know if you're really back. I don't know if you're just seeing that things are going well in my life and you just want to be toxic, okay? Listen, fair question. Because you know what? At the end of the day, your boy is Latino, okay? Your boy is Latino. Okay, I get a little toxico. Okay. And I see you happy. Okay. Enjoy your life. And I come in. Hi, baby. I think about you a lot. What could we have been? Okay. You get the picture. Daddy's home. Okay. And listen, I missed y'all. Okay. I missed having this. Okay. And it was a good break. It was a necessary break for both of us. Okay. Listen, let's just jump right fucking into it. Okay. A lot has changed in my life. Big changes in my life, okay? In the past, I don't know, dude. The past couple years, the biggest changes have just happened. We're going to talk about a lot of things. Might be a longer episode. Might be a shorter episode, and we'll just, as we go, we decompress, okay? And you might be thinking, is it just going to be you again, Evan? Because we're sick of you. I just got back, baby. Listen, I came back with the milk. They just didn't have it. You've seen. We got a new president, dude. There's shortages. We got eggs and milk and cigarettes, shit missing. Okay? So I had to go farther out, but I'm back. I'm home. I wasn't leaving. I was teasing. Okay. Where the fuck do we start? Okay. Let's start at the beginning. Okay. Proud vasectomy, baby. You know that. Okay. But let's fast forward a little bit. Okay. Your boy had a baby. Okay. I didn't. Wife did all the work. Okay. I just stood there. Okay. I just coached. I was like Mickey from fucking Rocky. Okay. My wife got in there. Just the craziest thing ever is to watch your wife just 3D print another human, dude. Just like sitting there like a Russian doll, just having a smaller version pop out. Okay. And then you're just like, whoa. It almost feels like a little bit of witchcraft, and a little bit of like ritualistic. It is. We did what's called a birthing center. And so you basically, you don't know what a birthing center is. It's more old school. You basically jump in a time machine and you go to the 1400s and you show up in basically a log cabin. Okay. And there's a German lady in there in the corner with a lantern, and you have like the midwives or the witches of the coven, if you will. Okay, depending how you look at this situation. But it was amazing. It was truly, truly, truly. Man, we got so much to unpack. That's made an impact. Bars. It's the craziest thing, having a babe. Okay. Having a baby. I don't know if we talked about this at all before I left, because I knew I was having a baby at that time. But there's like, you don't say it until a certain time because things happen. And it's truly the most amazing thing that I've ever been a part of. And it's changed my life so much. My life stays the same in a lot of ways. I thought you have this baby and it's instantly you're just a better person. Now you got to do all the work for it. I still have the draw to my phone. I still am like lower brain, but now I have like more motivation to clear and to just go for it more. But we did a birthing center, and my wife was amazing, dude. She killed it. She is such a stud. I don't know. In those moments, it's, you know, the most intense thing I probably will ever experience. And just like being part of that and seeing her just like handle that shit like a champ. And it's the most amazing thing. And then at the end of it, you get this beautiful little baby that is like, it's insane. It comes out and it's instant love. And it's the craziest thing ever. It's so cool. I'm almost at a loss for words. I've had so much time to prepare to talk to you guys about all of this. I'm still at a loss of words, you know. Let's go back a little bit. So if you're like, Evan, well, what were you doing all that time? Baby was born in November. I've been looking at it like I've been on paternity leave. The first few months are crazy. You're in the trenches, the newborn trenches. You're not sleeping, but we'll go back even further than that. So doing stand-up, doing podcasting. I don't make any money from the podcast. I pretend like I am over here making and wheeling and dealing with the podcast and everything, but still very small time. Okay, you're still getting in on the bottom level. Okay, on the basement floor, if you will. Stand-up, making a little bit of money. Not crazy. Nothing to build a hotel about. But with my regular work that I do marketing and stuff like that in my own business. So I get to create content, do all these fun things. Very, you know, one thing that happens when you're going to have a baby, and it was planned. They always say you're never ready. It's cliche. I've realized so many cliches are true. There's a reason why they're cliches. Trying to be ready, being like, okay, I'm going in the right direction a little bit, but it's almost like I knew at the time I was in a boat, a very transition boat, that there is still some shakiness to it. Okay. If you're in a boat and you're going somewhere and the boat is shaking, you're like, this isn't good. I work with clients on retainer. So I have monthly clients that pay me to do all their marketing, tons of stuff with it, and create content and all that, blah, 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 blah. I'm not doing it as much anymore. What's nice is I'm starting to get a footing in producing shows and some long-term things. And it's great. It's amazing. And we'll talk about some stuff. But I find out my wife is pregnant, and you have to you have to wait to tell people. So it's like this big thing where you're walking around with this secret. I had a secret for like the first 6 to 8 weeks. And I'm talking to one of my clients finally after the period of, and at the time, this client was like 85% of my my monthly revenue, of like my big thing, you know. And I'm talking to them, I'm excited, and I'm just like waiting for an opportunity. We're just having kind of a regular talk. And in the same breath, I tell them, I go, dude, I gotta tell you something, some pretty big news. We're having a baby. And it was like, oh, congratulations. In the same 15 seconds I tell them that, they're like, yeah, we're gonna be shutting down our business. I go, what? Yeah, so this is the last month. And it was one of those moments where I was just like, holy shit, this is crazy that I'm about to lose basically my job, like, you know, this huge thing of income. And now I'm just going to be out here rocking it in the free world. But your boy talks a lot of shit about just like get shit done, you know. Listen to a lot of David Goggins. And I'm like, what the fuck do I do? So I went into a full panic, if you will. Not panic, but like just the clock starts ticking. When you find out you're having a baby, the clock starts ticking. I have to get things in order to make my life easier because I know it's going to get harder. And once you have a baby, it seems like then you have another baby and another baby and another baby. And then it just turns into, it's never going to get back to the way it was. It's never going to be that easy again. You're never going to have this much free time anymore. And I spent that entire pregnancy working hard, locking down new clients, diversifying. And that's like a big thing that I realized I wanted to do, was not rely so much on one big thing. And also I had debt and everything that, the baby was due in November, and was able to pay a lot of it off. I went to just crazy working mode of just getting shit done and doing things that needed to get done. And I should have kept the podcast going. That's one thing that would have been cool, is to kind of talk through all that stuff. But I mean, maybe, I don't know. It was like, it was real, and it felt like a lot that I was like feeling and dealing with. And it felt very, it was very narrowing in my life. Just that whole idea was very sobering and narrowing of my what my world was. And because I knew it was coming no matter what. And it was, I didn't want, I have dreams and goals, and I realize I want to be just the master of my own. That's so gay. God damn it. We're shutting the podcast up. I'm going back into hiding. I wanted to be in control of my own world. I always want to be in control of what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, how I'm doing it, all these different things. And I think there's something that happens when people start having kids, where these dreams and goals, they start fading away, and it starts becoming something that's less and less attainable because of the realities of life and everything. And I'm so aware of that happening in people's lives that I was like, fuck that. I'm going much harder into this way. And I really got into producing a lot of different shows and leaning more into it. And I've been learning a lot more about doing the road and how to build, a career out of stand-up, because I'm like, I'm not going to not do this. This is my dream. This is, my goal. I don't like looking at it as like a dream, when people, because I didn't always have this dream. What I've always had was a goal of what my life to be. And I kind of like taking the mysticism out of the magic of this, because I've never been like, oh, there's magic in this and blah, blah, blah. Like, I love just looking at it like creative performance that I can work towards. And it also makes the bombing a lot less impactful when you look at it of this is just a job. This is work. I have to work hard at it, so I don't do this. I'm not going to let the highs get me too high, the lows get me too low. But I'll tell you this much. When I do bomb, it does hit me super hard, okay? And then I just write, and I try to get better, and I try to just get after it, But it's been amazing. We had the little babe in November, and man, it's the craziest thing ever. Having a kid. All the cliches are real. I don't think, let's see, while I'm able to bridge this gap of someone who remembers what it's like not having kids and knowing what it's like to have a baby now, a lot, I just realized you don't have that much free time anymore. That's like the one thing you don't realize until you don't have it, is how much free time I actually had, even though I was like living my life like I didn't have that time. Because things are just different now. And granted, as they get older, I'll have more time. But like right now, it's just so intense. when the baby came out, it was instant in love with the baby. Not like this whole, like, because it's like a new capacity for love. And with that, it's not all sunshine and rainbows, because now there's like something that I love more than myself. And it's not, it's this other thing that's completely disconnected from me. So it's like this new, like a level of fear and anxiety around it is also so intense, dude. I wake up in the middle of the night and I'm just looking at her chest and I'm just like, this little motherfucker's breathing, right? And I watch, I see it, and I go, okay, I can go back to sleep. You know, there's so much stress that comes with it, dude. I'm going well into my old age. I'm telling you right now. I'm such an old man now, dude. I love it though. I love it. We did have a scare in the beginning. It was there's nothing like that fucking fear and just like stress. We had this issue where it's called forgot what it was. Something pathological, non-pathological blood incompatible jaundice. It's a certain type of jaundice. And because, you hear jaundice, and jaundice is very common with babies. But this particular type of jaundice, it's a blood incompatibility thing. And it's where the mom has a different kind of blood type than the baby. And my wife happens to be O positive, I believe, which is like can create this chance. So they tested immediately when the baby was born if she had this particular jaundice, which she tested positive for. So they were like, okay, we want to test again on the day 2 to see what her levels are at, her bilirubin levels, which is all new shit to me. I'm just like, wait, what? Okay, I had jaundice as a baby, not a big deal. But basically what happens is different blood types, the mom's blood attacks the baby's blood through the umbilical cord, and it can raise the bilirubin level, which makes the baby look yellow. And then if the levels get too high, because what the problem is that the babies aren't flushing it out, their livers aren't developed to flush it out, they turn yellow, and it can cause all kinds of issues in their body. So we got a call day 2 of having this baby. We already, the first night we get back with the baby, and since we did a birthing center, day 1, you go home. We had the baby. We were home by like 2 p.m. the next day. Had the baby born at like, I think 12:27 a.m. or something like that. We were home, I think actually earlier. I think we were home by like 8 in the morning. It was that like quick of a turnover. That next night, the baby wasn't really eating and everything. So we had to go back to the birthing center to like learn how to feed her and just like get her to like, latch properly and all these things you just don't think of. So we didn't sleep that whole next night. We didn't sleep that night. And then day 2 with her, they, from their blood test that they did again, that day that we went back that night, they were like, yeah, hey, her bilirubin level is off the charts. We get a call at like 7 or 8 p.m. at night, which is like after hours for them, but they had just got the test results. They were like, you need to go to this child emergency room right now with her. And they were like, this is like an emergency. And then I was like, okay, cool. So then we race over there. They take us to the ER. That's like a whole fucking bullshit. Then I'm like, so much has to change with the way we do medicine in America, which I'm thinking it is. But then her levels were like so high that they did so many tests to like rule other stuff out, which I was like, she doesn't have this. But they were like, we need to test just to be sure. And then her levels were, it's like this weird slope because how many days old she is, certain levels are like super dangerous, critical level. And as she gets older, the level of even if it's in that, that level isn't as dangerous, even if it maintains the same level. So they were like saying when they came in, they're like, yeah, we have to get these levels down, or we're looking at like brain damage, or, this can be fatal in babies, this young, which is the most insane thing to hear when you have a 2-day-old baby. And I haven't even talked about any of this really, which is just crazy to like think about. It was crazy. So we're dealing with that, and it's the most like unloving moment, the day 2 you have with your baby. They strip her down, they put her in, put a light cover over on her eyes like she's going into fucking a tanning booth. I'm like, we're not ready for that. And then they put her in an aquarium, basically this little like plastic box. They put lights underneath her. They put a light overhead of her, lights on the side of her. And then they hook her up to a bunch of IVs and start giving her this medicine that was supposed to start bringing the bilirubin level down. And it was really intense. And we ended up, that first, it wasn't working that good. And they were like, we might have to do a blood transfusion if this doesn't start coming down. And it's just crazy. The things that they like casually throw out where they were like, yeah, we're gonna have to get someone in here tomorrow to test if she has hearing. And I'm like, this is insane. And then the whole time, you can't hold your baby. It's so hard for me, but like for a mom, like it was so hard for my wife to just even like not be holding her. Because our little babe, she's in this little thing and we can't even hold her. We can't do anything. And you're just trying to hold her finger. You're trying to sing to her. You have to bottle feed her. So my wife was like pumping at the same time that we're trying to do the bottle. It's the most intense thing. And we haven't slept for like 2.5 days at this point. But it started going down a little bit. And long story short, or long story long, we ended up 3 days later, we got the green light to bring her home, which was amazing. That level of relief that you have, bringing, like when they finally tell you, you guys can go home today. It's the greatest thing ever, dude. It's such a relief, that level of like just stress and anxiety. And then I need this to be clear. We were in the NICU, and what we were dealing with compared to some of the people that I saw on there, and the families and the parents and these poor little babes, dude. It's the saddest place in the world, but also an amazing place because some of those nurses and doctors and just the people they have there, they have the compassion. They understand how crazy this is for people. And they were great. They even had this lady, dude. It's funny because all she would do was walk around and pray for you. Like that was her job. Is she would come in there and she was just a support system. And it was so cool. I forgot what the name of the program is, but they also, it's really cool for moms in the NICU. They give you free food and everything. So my wife could call all the time and just get whatever she wanted brought to the room. And let me clarify when I say free food. Okay. I got the hospital bill. Okay. I might as well have been staying in Fiji. Okay, might as well have been in Sicily in a private resort. I could have taken the family to Bora Bora. Okay, for what I was paying every night in this hospital. And I'm like, hey, why do I have health insurance if this is costing me this much? Okay, how about instead of me paying this bill, why don't you just take my liver? Okay, maybe we could do a fair trade. Maybe I'll take a kidney out and you give me black market prices for it. We'll just call it even. Does someone want my foot while I'm in here? Huh? That sounds even for what you're doing to me. Oh, my wife gets free food, but you won't pay me for dinner? Maybe just take me to dinner once before you're going to try to. Anyway, very cool place. Okay, great people working there. This lady that would come in and pray, dude. You're just emotionally exhausted. Because now in hindsight, everything's cool with this talk. But like at the time, you're just like, I don't know what this is. I don't know how long we're going to be here. Is she okay? Like all this stuff. And then this lady would come in there and she'd be like, she was like European, which makes it so cool. Okay. If someone comes in there like, hey, can I pray for you? I'm just like, okay. But if they come in there like, hello, I'm just like, cheerio. They're like, I would like to say a prayer with you, if that be okay. And I'd like to talk to you about your situation. And I was just like, certainly. Here's a problem with me. I code switch so fast, dude, if it's European. Okay. I love talking to bloody brilliant people. Okay. But dude, I can't handle emotional stuff like that. When I can't escape through humor, an emotional situation, when I can't just be, it's all good. I break down. I'm a little wethead, dude. And my wife knew it and she saw it in this moment. And she was like, yeah, you really passed the buck to me on that one. Because this lady starts talking to us and she's like, and what is going on with your daughter, your wee little baby? And she starts, and this is just like pulling these emotions out of me. And I can't even talk. I look at my wife and I'm just like, you got this. Go ahead and tell the nice lady. And my wife is talking to her. And then the lady goes, it's very hard on mothers, these situations. And I'm just looking at the ground, just welling up. And this lady goes, it's also very hard for fathers. And then she goes, and even though sometimes they aren't allowed to show it, it's okay if it's hard for them. And I just break down crying. I'm just breaking down and I'm just like, it's so bloody hard, But it was a crazy situation. Everything was fine. And that was like the first couple days, dude. That was how we started out parenthood, was dealing with that. But you just appreciate everything. And first weeks are insane, dude. It's one thing you realize about with like newborn parents. I ask parents, I'm like, hey, any advice? What do you think? And mainly all they say is survive. Just try to sleep and just survive. And that was literally the only advice that was real. That's like all there is. Because there's little details of things, but it's like, man, the baby has to eat so much. There's so much stuff with like having a baby that you just don't realize until you're in it. You wouldn't even have a reference if you don't have a kid of like, okay, like it's just around the clock for those first couple weeks. You're waking up every 45 minutes because the baby has to eat every 2 hours, but the baby also just doesn't go to bed immediately right after eating. You got to hold the baby up. You got to change the baby. The baby's fussy. There was nights I'd be like walking around my house for like 3 hours, just holding the baby, trying to get to go back to sleep, dude. It was nuts, dude. Anyway, we're getting so heavy in the baby shit on this, dude. But it's good to be back with the podcast. Okay. Just so much changed. Okay. So much changed in my life in that regard. It was a nice break, I was feeling, I don't know if it was burnt out with the podcast at that time, but it just felt like I wasn't connecting as much with the podcast. It just felt like, I didn't know. I needed a break, I guess, which is so dumb to say. But I think I also just had focus in other places and was wondering if this was like the way I wanted to keep making content on a regular basis. But I think it's a fun way to still talk and to connect, as gay as that sounds. Hey, how's it going? So much has changed, we have a new president. That's different, right? You can't even, this is the thing. Doge is great, right? We're doing some good things. We got RFK doing some things with the health world. It feels like it is wild, and I'm like, I don't even like being political. Okay. This was an important election, it felt like. But just because it feels like there's a bit of a revolution happening, and you might not be on that side of agreeing with everything happening, but just the fact that this can happen and is happening is a breath of fresh air, that you can actually get someone in there that's looking at the government spending. When you start looking at where some of these billions and billions of taxpayer dollars are going, you start looking at, hey, maybe we could do this and start helping out our country in ways that actually are effective. What was it? There was this thing that the U.S. government fails the audit every single year. I don't even think that, and this has kind of been my stance on a lot of stuff with the government, is I don't necessarily think that the government is evil, in the sense that the government isn't this could be wrong about this. The government isn't this over imposing evil club that everybody has been all working together as one big piece. I think it's just so big and disconnected, and there's so much oversight and things happening and things moving here and things happening here. And it's set up to not really be able to do anything on both sides. You start looking at some of these things and you're like, oh yeah, this thing to get bills and things to move through. It has so many checks and balances that should be a good thing. The government is supposed to be designed to have accountability and to make sure things go through the proper channels, and you never get a tyrannical leader. But there's been no checks and balances. It's become this game and this way that people make money and all this stuff. And it's we have a government because people don't have time to govern themselves. That's why we elected public officials and all these things. It's supposed to be designed to make our lives easier. It's just yeah, you guys organize this, you govern these things, you take care of, public needs and everything like that, like roads and all of this stuff. You guys are in charge of this. But it became so lucrative to make money and just get all these donations and also just have all this taxpayer money go into nothing. I look at it you could put it to anything. You could put it to any business, and the government is failing in every capacity. If you're spending more than you're making, then it's a failing business. And it just means that it's not efficient in what it does. And it's where has all this stuff been going? And it's so big, and there's so many moving pieces and things that we're can never actually track down what's happening and what is going where. And we're all just too busy in our own personal life. So we've really just relied on a system that hasn't been doing what it says it's been doing. And I feel that's being exposed a little bit with kind of some of this Doge stuff. And I think at the very least, that should be a good thing for everyone, is looking at this system, or at least what is happening, and go, okay, having some accountability and putting people on notice at the very least is a good thing. You might not like the politics that are happening and some of the things, but there's been so much wasteful spending that inflation has been going up and all these things. I like how I say I don't like to get political, and then I just start dropping all these random just talking points that you've already heard 1,000 times. I think things are going in the right direction. Got to break a few eggs and make an omelet. You know what I'm saying? It is weird that you see certain things and then you just start seeing some of these news stations just saying the complete opposite. You're just how did you get that out of that? It's terrifying what the media can do. And I don't know. I don't really care. I do care a lot. And that I care a lot actually about things and laws and the future. That's the other thing. I used to have all these fantasies about the apocalypse now, and how cool it would be. Now I got a baby. I'm the guy who's going to get killed in the apocalypse. I'm no longer a warlord in the apocalypse. I'm now a casualty. Okay. Best case scenario, I turn into Rick from The Walking Dead. Just have to lead a tribe now. Now I don't get to be a warlord. I don't get to be the bad guy. Okay. Things change. Okay. And you gotta roll with the punches. Okay. So now I gotta try to be Rick from The Walking Dead, which is fine. Okay. But stuff like that, it is cliche. Like you do start caring more about certain things, and you just go, okay, now I have skin in the game. It's very easy to have an opinion on something and live in a make-believe land with your ideology and everything until you have like skin in the game. Until you're just like, oh yeah, I guess I can't just keep playing pretend. I guess there are other sides. And I think something that's happened that's hopefully going away is the idea of, we got so into like identity politics. Like we started playing pretend for so much stuff. Everything was about like how people felt and all these just like talking points that I think a very crazy like liberal thing happened where it was a tactic. It was a strategy to just try to get votes, whether it was open borders or targeting different, groups of people. It was never about trying to help these people's causes or, be on the right side of history. It was always just about votes. And I think a lot of people don't realize that. And I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do there. I know no political party is perfect. I know that. I think, I think you something has to change with the system, and I think right now it's going in a direction that could make real change, and that feels good. That's not just same business as usual. Anyway, let's get out of politics, huh? What else is going on? What's been going on in the rest of the world, huh? Things going on. Dude, this is something that ruffles my feathers, dude. You want to get me going? Come to my house, fucking knock on the door, try to sell me bullshit ant spray when I got a no soliciting sign out front. Okay? Look, I don't see how it's legal to be out here soliciting, okay, when someone tells you they're not interested. I feel like if you knock on my door when you're soliciting and it says no soliciting, you should give me $15. That's what it feels like. It feels like just give me $15 for knocking on the door. You made a mistake. You got to pay up. Your company owes me that now. It's crazy. No means no. Okay? God, I get it now, women. God, it's crazy out there. Things have been great, though. Things have been great in life. Been working hard. Okay? This is a reality. I've never been more focused and just trying to better my life, okay, than ever. I'm trying to be a better person. Another thing, having a daughter will make you try to be a better person, okay? Made a lot of mistakes in my life. I've been a dumb guy before, okay? I'm not perfect. I am trying to be a better person. Okay. I'm trying to do it. I'm trying to be, and this is like the whole thing with parenting is it feels like I got extremely lucky with my parents. Extremely lucky. A lot of things hit at the right time in my life. Okay. Because, it's a lot of bad situations that you can have. And my life wasn't perfect. And I've been through some hard things. Everybody's been through some hard things. And I realized so much is the examples that I had. Um, it was never perfect growing up, but I have a great example of a dad that worked very hard, that didn't say all the time. Like my dad was never like a waxing poetic and profound about life and all these things. And this is what you got to do. And this is what, just like leading by example of like, I saw my dad have his own business. I saw him be his own boss. I saw him having character. I saw him, you know, being a good grandfather and establishing like what a man does. Okay. And as I get older, I try to mold and model that more. You know, and I think about a lot with homeschooling is which is crazy that as I get older, I go, I could probably homeschool my kid for the first couple of years. Just need to really focus on like the social stuff. Because the biggest thing that I got from homeschooling was how much of a waste, how much of a time waste a lot of school was. Yeah, it was fun. You know, there's so like, I loved high school, you know, and the social aspect of it. I mean, I don't know if I really loved high school. I liked it. I liked it. But there's so much time wasted, and it like almost trains you to do the whole like 9 to 5 thing. And then you find out like school was developed the whole situation of, yeah, you drop your kid off and you go work in the factory. And it's crazy also like there's so much stuff that like now is in my world because of having a kid. Like freaking daycares and all this stuff and ideas of like working and everything. Like a lot of people end up working just to pay for daycare. And then you watch these daycare videos of some dude, you got like some 19-year-old girl. They have some like hidden footage of her just hitting your child with a 4-piece combo. Just pop, 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 pop. Some old lady just flinging your kid across the room. Just taking out life frustrations on this poor babe. Okay. That's crazy. It's crazy. But yeah, I'm thankful to homeschooling for really, you know, making me realize that at a young age. There's like, I think I was under socialized when I was a little kid though. Probably needed more of that. I'm pretty normal now. I still tend to like, I like being alone a lot of time. Like I'm not some of these people who are like, I want to always be out and doing these things and I don't like to be home. Your boy likes to be home. I like to go out and do the things that I like to do and be social and do all that. But then I like to go home. I like to eat food. I like to cuddle up and I just like to hunker down, you know? I love it. I love just hunkering down and, you know, I like going on adventures and doing all these things, but man, being home is dope. It's the best thing ever, dude. When you've done your work, you get some good food and you're coming home. Like after a show, dude, sometimes I'll do an early show. You know, I have my show every Friday at 6 p.m. and I'll do the Saturday at 6 p.m. Sometimes I'll go hit, you know, a 6 p.m. and then a 7:30 show and then maybe open up like the 8 o'clock show at like East Austin Comedy. Shout out. And then after that, hit 3 shows in a night. I'll go pick up food and drive home and like watch the UFC fights or something like that. It's the best night ever. Just knowing you got all your shit done. It's the freaking weekend. Tomorrow's Sunday. Sunday fun day. And I'm eating chicken wings. You know how dope that is? That's the best thing ever, dude. I'm not someone that I just want to spend the whole night in a bar or do something. Yeah, I like to have a silly goose time, have some conversation and do stuff. But like, there's some things that just don't seem attractive to me at all. You know, I like dream of having a motorhome and just going from town to town doing gigs with my family, like having the kids in there and everything, just going to see all these different places, but like doing it with the family. And I know there's probably a balance of that because man, I know that's hard with work and things like that. Balancing it, you got to prepare for shows. It is different. It's not like you just go on there, you're like, man. But I like that balance of spending that road time with the family. I think seems great to me, of not just, being lonely in a hotel, eating weird food, just watching TV all day, taking a walk by yourself through a town, and then you just perform at the club and then go home to an empty place. Nah, dude. I want to bring family. I want them to see the world. Have a nice motorhome, maybe. Maybe splurge, get a hotel, if we can afford it at the time, One day we will. Yeah, that's where I've been at, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know how much time we've done. I started recording this podcast and the fucking camera died on me. First episode back, okay? And listen, you might be wondering, Evan, are you really back? Yeah, I think so, okay? But you never know with me. You just have to tune in next week, okay? And I was even going to record this episode today. I was going to wait a little bit, figure some things out. But I decided to put it out. I transferred all my hosting stuff to a different hosting platform for the podcast. And it showed me we were still getting listens. Even all that time while I wasn't doing the podcast, people were going back and listening to the old episodes. Even as recent as this week, there's new people listening to the first episode. And I'm like, wow, look at that. I said, you know what? Let's give them something. Let's give them something to wet their beak, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to this episode. Your boy Rusty, maybe, okay? But we'll be back, okay? And we're gonna be in here, and it's just good. It's just good, okay, to be back. If you're in Austin, Texas, doing shows all over, click the link in the bio, okay? If you want to see me host and do a longer set, come to 6 p.m. Daywalkers, Early Bird Show. We're going to be naming it the Early Bird Show. Have a bunch of bird-themed merch. It's going to be great. Every Friday at 6 p.m. at East Austin Comedy Club. You can catch me once a month at the Fairmont in Austin, hosting comedy and caviar and random shows all over town, okay? And, headlining sets in San Marcos, Texas, headlining in New Braunfels. And we're going to start slowly our circle of performing in places. We're gonna be expanding that, okay? And most importantly, I want to thank you for listening to the podcast, okay? It's not lost on me how lucky I am to have your time and energy, all right? And remember, no matter what, I still love you.